Okay, 99 Suzuki RM250. These feel so light when you handle them. It has a crack case. I don't know if you can see that. You see the crack starts all the way up here and runs clear down past the countershaft sprocket. Some people say they don't like these 8mm bolts back here. I actually do like them. Okay, and that's the bolt, stock bolt that goes in there. I need a different wrench. And to make this easy to put back together, I won't have to search through bolts in case I take some time finding parts or at the machine shop. Everything I can I'll put back where I got it from. Next we pull the strap. I'm going to take these 6 out, pull the plastics off, and then we'll disconnect the car. Anytime you pull fuel lines or work with any type of chemical or anything that has the potential to get in your eyeballs, you want to put on some safety glasses. I personally believe in hearing protection as well as safety glasses, skin protection, lung protection, whatever the situation calls for. Pull this hose here, probably leave that one on, take the whole carb off after we pull the fuel tank. Gonna loosen the bolts and then hit them with the impact. Expansion chamber is gonna have to come off. Kickstarter, maybe if we pull it to the left, maybe not. Brake lever will have to come out of the way. This side, of course, we're gonna pull the carb. Shift lever, be easier if you mark it. Chain, gotta pop it. Drain the radiator fluid. Disconnect the electrical. Pull this, disconnect the clutch. I think that'll get us to the motor mounts. We'll start on this side, bring the light over to the dimmer side, pull both these brackets loose, and squeeze the air box in just a little bit. May end up popping the frame and leaning it back. Pull the expansion chamber bolt. Gonna pull the 2 springs. Should be able to work that out. There's typically a seal in here, which we'll try not to break it. If it's in good shape, we'll reuse it. If not, which they sell tomorrow, we'll get a new one. So we're gonna pull the 2 springs now. Marking the case. Alright, so we're gonna pull this, take the chain off. Everybody knows how to do that. Gear shift, drain the radiator, pop the top, and pull the expansion chamber off. Necessity, your rubber hammer. You work them loose, tap them a few times, and out she comes. Okay, I popped the clip loose, and I made an old school screwdriver. I ground it a little bit thicker and flatter, specifically for working with chains. You pull it off, look at the countershaft sprocket, look at the rear sprocket, see what kind of wear there is. Are the teeth bent? These are bent a little bit. They still have quite a bit of meat on them. And then the countershaft, same thing. Worst thing is to do a whole engine and then throw old chain and countershaft off on, have the chain break, and destroy your case again. You know, YouTube's wonderful. But if you're not a certified mechanic or grew up working it with your father or worked into it, to jump into splitting the cases on a bike is, I believe, to be a bad idea. All right, notice these little clips? We're gonna loosen these. close to all the way out, but not off. Now we're going to pop the frame back, which will give us space here. Pop the edges loose, twist the carb to the side, take the top out, pull the slide, wrap the slide in a rag. Oh. And off we go. It's interesting when you pull when your bike's apart. Just pull the carb off, and notice there's sand right here. So this Suzuki's been sucking sand. Spark plug wire, both hands under it, twist it a little bit, work it off. Drain radiator. Pull this hose, top hose, then disconnect the wiring, start pulling the engine bolts, take the brake off, etc. And I'll drain a little bit of this out. A lot of it out, actually. Radiator fluid is highly toxic. Okay? If you have animals, make sure that you clean it up. Every little bit, that there's no residual on the floor no matter what. I'm going to take a little carb cleaner. We looked at the threads on this, a little bit of crud in there. Spray it off, make sure you have your safety glasses on. Don't breathe that stuff, and blow it out there. Put the brake bolt back in. Anything that's rubber you don't want to spray carb spray on. Clean off around. The dipstick. King Kong put it on. Loosen it. Let the air flow. Alright, don't want anything falling down in those holes. Yeah. So, there was no oil in it. Okay, got to disconnect the clutch. We'll pull these bolts, make sure we don't ruin the gasket. Disconnect the clutch on the inside. Then gonna take the nut off the swing arm. You got an engine mounting bolts right here, one. And you have up here, we'll probably take all three brackets off. That hose off. And we're probably ready to pull the engine then. Loosen that up, turn that in. Usually there's a secondary, which is right here. Alright, clutch cable is free. With a little lift. And you notice it has an O-ring, a little bit of dirt in there. We will spray a little bit of cleaner in there to this bracket assembly. Probably pull the whole bracket assembly out. Clean the edge of the threads also a little bit. Gonna take some pictures in here of the swing arm with the flash always on. Might be spacers and things, never know. Put the nut back on. Gonna tap it out a little bit. Gonna tap it out a little bit. Make sure we're clear. We are clear on that side. She is frozen in there, isn't she? So I think we'll take the pressure off the shock. Pull the bolt out. See if that doesn't make the swing arm bolt a little easier to come out. It shouldn't be that hard. unless it's rusted in or something. This is ready to come off. That's off. Got this one left to pull. The bolt that connects the shock assembly, which is disconnected on the top, to the swing arm, just in case it's putting any pressure on this, because this bolt is frozen and you should be able to tap it out and it will not move. Alright, we have a frozen, let's see if that's pointing, frozen swing arm bolt. So we're applying a little bit of heat, not too much. Just want to expand the external metal a little bit without damaging anything else. A couple taps with the mallet comes out. Not if it's rusted. It was rusted in a serious way. So we used a little heat without melting this. Didn't work on both sides. Then took and dropped the bike on the lift at a 45-degree angle. Now I have a special front wheel set up here for bikes. So lowered that, dropped the bike, 45-degree angle, famous liquid wrench in here. It was leaning over more than this in all the locations about 7 or 8 times yesterday. Then picked up a 3-pound sledge. We're gonna pull off the magneto. Have a special wrench. Gonna hand screw in. Now we don't want to over torque this. Okay, we know these were rusty. We're not sure if it's all the way in. A wing and a prayer. We hope it pops it off, and it did. Life is good. Pull it gently out. Okay, we'll do a visual inspection. Rusty. She was running. So we'll clean her up. Take these parts out, disconnect the wiring, pull the countershaft, chain, bolt that's holding it in, lift the motor out. Then we'll talk about taking it apart to split the case. Pull the countershaft again, the chain's already off, just lift it off. Gear shift, the bottom bolt, and we'll lift the engine out. Pull the swing arm back just a hair. Remember the brake line's still connected, just enough to loosen it. Edged it out, lifted it up a little bit, over. That's it. You got your RMZ engine sitting out, and you can see the crack extends from here. There's a chunk missing right there, clear up to here. So we'll see if we can get it welded. We know a couple really good welders. If not, we'll look for another case. Next, we'll take the engine apart, split the case, and get her fixed.